What's going on, fam? It's your girl, Kerrie Joy. I'm here once again to demystify this city government shit. So, I don't know about you, but it's been a hell of a week. And I honestly struggled to write anything for this week, but I realized that we need each other now more than we ever have. And so, the other day, my sis and local lyricist, Bianca McCon, she reminded us that this is not a drill. Let me remind you. In 2019, the Aurora Police Department tried to steal Elijah McClain's body. And he thought he could love those officers into seeing his humanity, because clearly, love is what he gave. But they stole his body anyway. And the APD, the Safety Department of Aurora, they kidnapped Elijah McClain, and then they killed him. And no one has been held accountable for this life that has been stolen. The people demanded an answer because somebody's child was dead. And there were those that have been demanding it from the very beginning, before George Floyd, who also cried out for his mama while he was begging for his own life. These same organizers that have been demanding this accountability for Elijah McClain and countless others from the very beginning are now facing felony charges. I mean, it's kind of simple, right? Thou shalt not kill, right? So someone must answer for these deaths because someone is clearly responsible. But instead of charging the officers and other public safety employees, instead of them seeing their day in court, they charge the organizers that dared to ask any questions. Family, this is not a drill. They are trying to keep the rabble in line. This is a message. APD saw what happened with the collective bargaining agreement in Denver, and they sent a message. Do not be fooled. This means they are afraid. This is a power move, a response to being outmanned and outsmarted, honestly. But this is when we push, remembering that no one deserves to wait for these systems that allow Black and brown people to be murdered and swept under the rug, instead of gathering the facts and making the appropriate changes to preserve life, because thou shalt not kill, right? So like I said, fam, this is when we push. We know that this system is intentional. It is designed to work for the wealthy few, but we can change it so that it works for all of us. One way we do this is through the budget in Denver. The hearings are happening as we speak. Another way that we can do this is through the judicial branch of government and voting for a district attorney that has some type of integrity and practices anti-racism. This is how we get involved, register to vote, pay attention to what is going on in our communities. But let's focus, and let's talk about the budget real quick. Let's talk about the same budget where the chief of police in Denver is getting a total of $618,000 more in 2021 under personnel services. Watch how these budgets become bloated, because based on my quick analysis, the city will be cutting benefits for all other personnel while the chief receives an increase. So the reality is, to all the cops out there that think the system respects you, recognize how your benefits are always the first to go. Don't be appeased with the bullshit. And I mean, let's be real. If you truly wanted to serve and protect and hear from the people of this city that you are neither serving nor protecting, that should be your first clue to find another job. But also, this is how the system builds that resentment and creates that division by taking more from the bottom while the rich get richer and poor folks are left to duke it out amongst themselves. It's a real life purge. Pay attention. This is the same budget where the public safety department plans on spending $2 million more on full-time employees in 2021 than they expect to pay in 2020. And is going to the heads of these departments, not the public safety programs or the services that we actually need. And how do they plan on paying for this? Through planned over-policing, through analyzing and profiting off of crime. And I use that word very loosely. They do this rather than addressing the root causes of these issues. This is the same budget where the mayor and the public safety department sell to the people that they have committed to the youth and plan on giving them more money for their programs in 2021. But based on what I'm seeing, the total is actually the same as it was in 2020. And when you break it down, the city has actually committed $3 million more to the criminalization of our youth through pretrial services and electric monitoring than they have committed to the actual youth programs themselves. Our priorities are fucked up. And listen, I am grateful that the city has decided to give the STAR program $1 million. That's beautiful. But also, the majority of the STAR calls are in response to trespassing, which have been directly connected to our housing issue and the criminalization of our unhoused. So while the STAR program has proven to save the city money, the city still chooses to stop at being reactive rather than preventative in addressing the root cause of these emergency calls. The emergency is that people need housing. And the reality is that the STAR program is needed to serve the unhoused too. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, because people love to pathologize the poor. But James Baldwin said it best: anyone who has ever struggled with poverty knows how extremely expensive it is to be poor. That includes our mental health. So while we say we need services for our unhoused because they're crazy, let's remember that 1 in 5 people in our country are said to suffer from diagnosable mental disorders. It changes to 1 in 3 when we are focusing on our unhoused population. But when you do not have the money to prove why you deserve to be treated as a human being, that shit can drive you crazy. Has anyone not seen the Joker movie? This is class warfare. Pay attention. Speaking of our unhoused neighbors, let's talk about the housing budget. The city plans on making $1 million more in 2021 from affordable housing property taxes and from sales and use taxes, but wants to remove almost $150,000 for housing for the mentally ill and another $6 million removed from the Homeless Services Fund. I can't make this shit up, y'all. I can't make this shit up. Need I remind you that this city has received millions and millions of dollars in reimbursable funds this year from FEMA to address the crises that have been exacerbated by COVID-19. They will be getting that money back. And I want to remind you that that's your money too. These are federal tax dollars. And instead of the city getting reimbursed and using these millions of dollars to spend on the actual lack of safety from being unhoused or hungry or in need of clean water, instead of using this money to provide full access to stabilization instead of institutionalization, here we are, spending money on sweeping the issue under the rug. Listen, there's so much more to unpack in this budget. The proposed line item budget for all departments is over 3,000 pages. So we need to all do our part here because it is meant to not be transparent or digestible. What I do know is that there are a few things that can be done. We can send our emails to City Council and demand that they veto this mayor's budget. The money, our money, is there. But the priorities are clearly not. And also, I know that there are way more than 3,000 of us here in this city, and we all need help in understanding this thing. So listen, pick a page and get to work. If we could all get 3,000 people committed to disclosing their findings from one page and then continue to analyze this document in a comprehensive and holistic fashion, we can see it for what it is and propose what it should be. Maybe there are different groups that can look at different departments. We can figure this thing out together if we choose to. So I'm asking you, for the sake of humanity, take a look. See where your money is going. These are your tax dollars. Are you okay with how it's being used? Make your voice heard. Tune into City Council every single Monday. Sign up for public comments. Reach out to your elected officials with your budget findings and demand that we do better because we all know that we can afford it. The money is there. Tune in to the budget hearings throughout the week. It's happening right now here in our city. We have until November to ask the right questions and to make the right amendments. November is a big month for all of us. So let's get to work. I love y'all. I hope y'all are loving on each other. And until next time, all power to the